Hey everybody, it's Baileywiki, and we are back with another episode of DC20 to Foundry. This is where we track the development of the DC20 game system as it gets implemented in the Foundry VTT ecosystem. So my name is Baileywiki. My channel is all about Foundry stuff. I do some dungeon draft and some other things as well. But if you are a GM and you want to know how to create great experiences for your players, my channel hopefully is one of the places that you'll find a lot of value. And I'm joined today by my partner in crime here for the DC20 implementation, and that's Patrick. Hey, Patrick.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Patrick. Thanks for joining us. So everybody's really excited about all the content and stuff that Coach is talking about as we're marching towards V.9 for the game system here. I just did a recent episode on some of the modules, the third-party modules that I think people should probably be using if they're going to jump in and play with DC20. Some really exciting like token HUDs and other stuff that's coming out. But we've got more work still that you've been doing, Patrick, on the system itself. So I wanted to walk through some of those changes today, and then also set some expectations, or because people are always like wondering like when's it coming out. Obviously, we're pretty far ahead in the Foundry ecosystem as far as support for DC20. You can come in and play it right now. It's available as a free system to download. As the content starts to come out of the DC20 team, Coach and his team, we'll be kind of drafting behind that. So depending on when that content comes out, we may be anywhere from a week to 4 weeks later, depending on what we've got to pull in. And I think also, Patrick, it's fair to say, at least the current thinking is we want to focus on getting the content out earlier and then following up with automation kind of later, because there will be some things that Coach introduces from a content perspective that will maybe introduce new automation functions and just even coding automation into things will be a certain level of effort. Is that fair to say? Like we'll start with the content and then we'll sort of deploy the automation in subsequent phases?
My idea is to release content as fast as possible. With whatever we can automate fast, we will do that. But if something will be more complicated, then we will push it back to the next update.
Yeah. And I think that's the right order of things, because you can take automation forever. It's like, you can keep automating until everything's fully automated and the diminishing returns there. But what we want to do is focus on getting the content out first and then hook things up as it goes. So with that said, we've got a few things to run through today. The first one that I've got on my list is we've now got measured templates, right?
Yeah.
And that you can do from like roll chat. So tell me what we're looking
exactly.
at here.
So maybe I will just start with this character here, and that's our warlock Carias, and we can see if he knows Burning Flame, and there are different areas that he can use that spell on. So line, cone, or sphere. So now when we make that check, let's roll that item, we are able to use those templates. Here we can also edit those if we there are some spells that allows us to increase the range if we roll higher, 5 more, that stuff. So here we can change those.
Okay, awesome. That's great.
And
that's
then we can just click on that. Oh, that map is in feet, not in spaces. So
right.
Okay, so I will change it to.
Do you want to convert the map to space?
I mean, for that, we can keep it that way. It's not that important. So yeah, you can see that I can create that template and I can just drop it, and then this little pop-up will be displayed and will show tokens that count for that template, and I can toggle which ones are my targets. So for example, if you have spell that does not target your allies, only enemies, and those are inside that template, you can just toggle those allies off. So let's say we don't want to target ourselves with Burning Flames, so only Bandit, Capitan, and Skeleton. Also, if you are not sure which is which, you can just ask to ping
This is
token.
great.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, and then just confirm, and you can see that those are my targets now.
Wow.
Also, there is an option to configure that area as a difficult terrain. We will move to move points later, but if area is configured as difficult terrain, then tokens will have to pay more to move through
That's
that area.
incredible.
So
Wow,
yeah,
cool.
and you can just configure that here. And yeah, so that's when it comes to templates. Also, you
Nice.
can place multiple of those. So yeah, that's how it works. And I think we can move to move points and difficult terrain then.
Yeah, let's do it. Boy, that was you're coming
when we
out
are
hot
here.
right out of the gates. This is good.
Yeah, so maybe I will make that difficult terrain and let's change that size to 30, for example, just to make it bigger. Hop. Okay, so now we can talk about move points. So in DC20, you can take move action to grant yourself move points, so you can spend those during your turn. And we need to start combat for that. Let's put those tokens into combat. So how it works right now, you spend your move points only during your turn, because that makes sense to me. If you are moving outside of your turn, then probably you shouldn't spend move points anyway, because you are either shoved or you are moved by some other stuff.
Fair. Yep.
And also, if you want, you can just always manually change this right here. Yeah, you can just provide some amount of move points here. And that's a move points, by the way. And now we have our turn. Karias is on his turn here. So let's try to move him. And as you can see, I have not enough movement to move that token. And there is option to move it without movement. You need to hold F key for a free move. So if there is some situation where you don't want to spend your move points,
Sure.
then you can just cheat that way.
So you're holding down the F key. Okay.
Yeah. And now for move action, you can either press those footprints here.
Footprints, yep.
Yeah, and it will just automatically add your movement to your.
Interesting.
Or you can go to actions and use move action, and it will do. It
will also.
Yeah, it should, but I need to change that because it's not yet in the system item. It is only in my Word item, the correct one, because that one is using item macro. We will go to that later, but yeah, we can. This move will add
great
more speed, and also if you have
use an action point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Same here. It will also
Incredible.
up your action point. Yeah. So right now I have 15 spaces of movement, so I can just move around. And if without enough movement, then I will just
stop. Interesting.
be stopped. Yeah.
Great.
So that's it. And also, if you have different move types, for example, I don't know, maybe you have 10 fly. So when you are flying, you will add 10 move points.
Okay.
Then you can just right click here, and you can select other
you right click
type.
the footsteps, and that changes to another move type.
Yeah,
okay.
There is when you hover over that, you can see that tooltip with. Yeah. So we can also check that difficult terrain. So we have our cone that is the difficult terrain for us. And let's say we want to. So we have 6 move points, and if we move here, it will subtract 5. So 2 for this space, 2 for this space, and 1 here.
Wow. Great.
There is one note when it comes to difficult terrain and token sizes. So bigger tokens have problems to figure out if they are in the space already or not. This is the same issue with. I found the same issues with regions, Foundry regions. Those also have those problems. So I made few workarounds, and it is almost always correct.
Okay.
But yeah, with bigger sizes, it's better to check it manually, or if you don't want to bother and track that, you can just go to the settings and disable difficult terrain. So
I see. Okay. And you can always use the F key if you have to make some adjustments because you accidentally
or manually change that value. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
and also You probably could see those little boxes here.
Yeah, what are those? I mean, those are action points, but they're right on the token now.
Yeah, exactly. Now those can be seen here on the token, and also those two buttons will add and subtract action points from here. So
wow, that's easy.
if you need to make some corrections, you can do it.
Nice.
Right on the token.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before. That's an interesting way to put those really like always valuable pieces of information right on the token. That's
And
great.
also, we can show it with a NPC. If you have more action points, for example, let's say that NPC has 6, those will scale.
Okay, is that it on the move points? Do you want to talk about item macro?
Yeah, I think we can go to that. That's another big automation feature I really wanted to create before, but I managed to do it now. So let's go to Sergius. He is our classless character, and I will show how it works first, and then we will talk about
Yeah.
more. Okay, I will just show it. So let's pick.
Give us a demo first, then we'll jump into how it works.
Yeah. So we will take Findborn as our ancestor. Right now, you don't need to drag and drop if you don't like it. I saw a few comments that people would prefer to.
Reason.
So when you open Compendium browser from those buttons anywhere here, it will remember what window opened it.
Nice.
And now if we go to the Findborn, we can just click that add item button and it will
there you go.
Automatically add it here. So for that presentation, we want for sure Fiendish resistance and Fiendish magic, because we will show macros that are fired at item creation. Yeah. Let's apply that advancement.
I am
here
for that.
Yeah, now we can see two dialogues. First, we need to select our Fiendish origin damage. So let's say it's cold, for example. And then we can provide our Fiendish magic spell. So maybe I will move it here for now. And as you can see, Fiendish magic works that way that you gain one more spell, and once per turn you can make it cost 1 mana point less. So now I can, let's say I will pick something. Let's say we will go with maybe Firebolt. Let's make it easy. Firebolt, okay, and we will close that. It's here. We can just I closed that window by accident.
Yeah, we want to use the name Firebolt in there.
Yeah, I don't have to worry. I can also run that macro on demand just by clicking that button here. So I can change that spell if I want to later. So I provided that, and now when I want to roll Firebolt, I have Fiendish magic here, and I can use it to reduce mana cost. For Firebolt, it would do nothing, but yes, when we jump to that Fiendish resistance and Fiendish magic and go to advanced tab, we can see few macro options. So we have on demand with tooltip. So if we provide that macro, we can run it whenever we press that button here on the character sheet. We have after creation, this macro it's for Fiendish resistance, it's the same macro for on demand, and after creation, it does the same thing. So we just change that effect.
I see. It's what made it automatically pop up when you created it.
Yeah. And also we have before delete, before item roll, after item roll, and on item equip or toggle.
So for example, can have any item have these macro trigger events to be able to trigger a macro. That's what you've essentially built in here. And you also built all the macros for, maybe not all the macros, but you've built many of the macros for some of these features.
Yeah.
Okay, fascinating.
So toggle work, for example, when I'm equipping or unequipping this armor, it would run that macro. So there are some features, for example, I will find rage, and we need that from the word. Rage also has that toggle, so it would also fire that macro.
Interesting.
So maybe I will show few more advanced macros macros I did. First will be spell duel. For that I need to go to Carias here. And as you can see, we have spell duel here. And when we click on that, it's all done by that macro. I've created a simple pop-up as a tool, so people don't have to code that window themselves.
Yeah.
They can just provide some. It will be this. Right.
Okay.
I really want them to make some code editor here.
Yeah.
It would make that easier. Yeah, so that's
And this
just
is a
simple,
really great, for those of
simple
you who are
pop-up.
going to jump into this and start making your own like homebrew stuff, opening up some of these macros and seeing how they're set up. Sometimes you just have to modify a couple of values. This is super helpful for that too.
Exactly. So here you can see that that's input with few questions that I
Nice.
yeah, and then it collects answers and just let's just go through that
Yeah.
spell duel. So for example, we are making spell duel with someone and he rolled 14 and he spent 1 mana on that spell. And we spent 2 mana on that spell. Now we click confirm and we have our spell duel versus this versus 15. So we need to
Wow.
meet or beat 15. We can maybe we will give ourselves disadvantage with hindered. Yeah,
Hey,
so
there you
now
go.
we can check it and we are hindered and let's roll that. Oh, we don't have resources to that. So we need to have that mana to spend it. So let's do it again. Mana spent 2. There, yeah. And let's roll that spell duel. And we succeed.
Nice.
We destroyed that caster spell.
Incredible.
So that's one of the more advanced macros that I
Okay.
did. And also you have, maybe I will just open system guide. There is this, for more advanced systems, there is system guide written by me here. So for example, with item macro, you have all those macro types
great.
described.
Yeah.
And also each macro has access to the item that it is on and the actor that is the owner of that item. So, well, you can just access all the items from the actor if you want to. You can just scan through the actor and just collect the items you want. So you can, with one macro, edit some other item if you want. And there are some macros right here that do that.
Wow. Awesome.
So if someone wants to play around more with that, then I would advise to read that advanced system guide and let me know if it's even readable. So
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, what kind of questions? Well, so you guys let us know in the comments too if you play around with that and you have questions about it.
Yeah.
So there. Okay, great.
Yeah, so
Okay, item macros. Does that complete item macros for us?
yeah, I think
Good enough for now.
I mean, yeah, I mean I could also show spell strike.
Okay. Yeah.
And we can go to the next thing.
Have you created these item macros for everything that's currently in the game system, or is there quite a bit you're
yeah,
still have yet to work on?
if I thought that it makes sense, I tried to figure out how to automate it with either macros, events, or
Okay. I'm just trying to set expectations for folks who are, wondering if they come into something and, it's not automated, what things might not be
so
automated.
it's always worth checking out if it will be automated because some things are yet not that easy or not even possible to automate with
For sure.
how the system works. So let's see, we have spell strike, we will use our rapier, and when we roll that, we can select the spell. With spell strike, you select the spell and you your weapon attack, you use that spell on the same target. So let's say it's our firebolt, and it collects all our weapon. Right now I don't have any weapon enchantments, but yeah, if I had, I would also could use those there. And all our spell enchantments.
So this is what you mean by it's able to also look at other items that the actor owns, be able to pull those in if they apply. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And also it's our packed country, so we have advantage on that too.
Yeah.
If you want to. And then, as you can see, it created a temporary item here. And when we, that's how I made it. So it just merged of two items.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and if we roll that, it is destroyed, and our spell strike just attacked.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I think that's it for macros for
Okay,
now.
so you want to move on to these improvements to some of the advanced configuration systems like events and roll
Yeah.
level
So
conditionals.
uh, you could see few of those already. For example, it's not. I mean, it's probably an improvement because many people said that when it comes to roll level check,
Mhm.
people forgot about those checks a lot. So I just
You made
change
it.
it so yeah, it pings you. Hey, click me, and when you do, then it will stop. So that's one small thing, but yeah, let's.
Wait, do you have to
So
click the roll level check? I took that as just informational, but what's
I
the
mean,
actual intent?
it will. For example, if you have some targets selected or
Hmm.
you have some conditions that change your
Hmm.
advantage disadvantage, yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
when you click on that, it will scan your targets and conditions on you, and it will say you have advantage from this,
Yeah.
disadvantage from that, and it will
Oh, so it's not just informational. It actually, when you
no,
click on
it
that,
will also
it'll
change
actually
that.
change those for. Okay, that's super important. I did not realize that was the case. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you made it glow like a beak. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Also,
that's that's great.
you can ignore multiple check penalty if you want to just from
Oh, I
by
see. Okay.
selecting that. So let's roll that. Oh, it's a crit.
Hey,
Okay.
by the way, is there a reason why you don't just automatically apply those roll checks?
Yes, I don't want. I prefer DM to confirm those because those
Hmm.
calculations could sometimes be wrong, or there could be some circumstances that would change the outcome. So
I see. Okay, so it's a final, you know, gut check, manual check to make sure
yeah,
that all the automation's working. Okay,
yeah.
that's
But
really good to
also,
know.
I added a button here to up. For example, if I have multiple targets here, I can
Mhm.
just apply it for all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So let's take that back and
Great.
all right. Now let's go to the role level and events automation. So for example, let's go to that skeleton and let's take a look at that exposed condition. So when it comes to role levels and events,
Okay.
those can get complicated. So those are also described here.
Mhm.
But those are effects, but with objects inside. Let's say that's how I would call it.
Okay.
So as you can see, we have some fields here that are later used, for example, for checking uh, roll level or some events. And it could get complicated. You have to know those values, those fields. So that's why I created builders for
Hmm.
those systems. So we can just open that simple pop-up and we can uh, select if it will be advantage, disadvantage,
Wow.
what's the level of that advantage, disadvantage, our label that will pop up. That disadvantage comes from exposed, for example.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
Also, yeah, if it's automatically crit or fail, you can just select that. Uh, Next thing is if it works for any actor or only for the person that created that chat message that you
Oh,
apply that effect from. So, for example, if there are some classes that I don't know if Hex works that way, but I'm sure that there is some class that will get advantage or on a target, but only that one person, not everyone. So it's not like exposed.
right.
It is for that one person. So that's why you can select that works only for caster
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
option. Also, not everything could be fully automated because those there are things too complicated to just make it simply yes or no. So
Sure.
that's why I added that to that checkbox.
Yeah.
So if you select that, it will ask you hey, should that, for example, advantage be added or not?
Right.
And then you just have to answer yes or no.
Right.
And also there are many effects right now in the game that work only, for example, until the start of your turn or until the first hit or something like that. So here you can select what should happen to the effect after it was applied. So we could, for example, delete that effect.
Or just disable it.
Yeah. So maybe we will set those things like that.
Okay.
You can see that it changed
Great.
a few fields here. We will save it and we will. I removed that guy. I need to pick
Yeah, redo it.
and
Yeah.
here, yeah. Did I save it or not? Okay, I did. All right. So now let's attack that creature again. Let's make it with our rapier. Okay. So as you can see, I forgot to click roll level check,
Right.
and that's why that effect was not destroyed.
Great demonstration of why we want to click that.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
redo it, but click the level check
yeah.
again.
So now I will, and it will ask me, should expose be applied? Yes, it should.
So
We have
there's
multiple check
everything.
penalty here. So now we roll that item, and as you can see, skeleton does not have that exposed anymore. It was removed after the first attack it took.
Amazing. That's so helpful.
Yeah, so that's for roll levels, and for events, let's see what good event could I find to throw that. Maybe something. Oh, something from Bard. Maybe let's grab that bardic performance here. Here, let's roll that. And now we have different
options.
Buffs that bardic performance can give you. So let's say that we want to let's pick that Carias, and we want to give him Battle Ballad. It works that way that you gain +1 damage against one target of your choice. So let's make him attack. Let's okay. Yeah, as you can see, when we select this ignore multiple check penalty, it will ignore it. Yeah, so it works. For that, I want to hit for sure, so let's get a lot of advantages.
Sure.
And now when I roll that, it will ask me if Battle Ballad should be part of that action. So if I click no,
it will stay there for my next.
Yeah, it will still be at here as my buff, but it won't add to that damage calculation here.
Yeah. Yep.
And if I do it again, but click yes, it will become disabled.
Yep.
And here you can see that Battle Ballad was added to that calculation.
Right.
And now it re-enables itself, if I remember correctly, either at the beginning or at the end of my turn. So yeah, at the beginning. So we can.
There you go.
Yeah,
You got it up again.
we have it back. Yeah, and
Cool.
also here, when it comes to Battle Ballad, we also have event builder. So so that's what made it work. So we have our event that is of basic type, because some events might give you some health, or for example, bleed will be applied damage event, yeah?
Yep.
Or would ask for a check. For example, when you are making repeated save, it would ask for a check each time you start your turn.
So Patrick, the reason that cog brought up an event builder is because you picked events under the description. Is that how I'm understanding it? That cog opens up
exactly.
the other builder if it's not event based.
If
right?
you select events, here, then you need to save it somehow. So for example, we can, because changing that on that drop down does nothing.
Yeah.
We can save it by, for example, adding new
That will save the previous
lines,
line
yeah.
and delete it. Okay, right.
Yeah, and now we can open that builder, and let's say, for example, we want to make a save request.
Mhm.
For example, let's also call it maybe battle.
Well, the event type is save request. So when a save request is done or called for, that's what triggers this, right?
It
Am I
will
understanding?
trigger. Event type is a behavior, and trigger is when it is triggered. So
Oh, I
we have,
see.
as
Okay.
you can see, many different triggers here.
Yes.
So for now, let's use turn end
Hmm.
as our triggered, and let's make it an agility save
Yes.
against. So let's make some flat value. I will present
Okay.
effect formula injection later.
Great.
So, and now we can say what will happen on the success. So we can either disable event, delete it, or do nothing. So let's say we will delete it.
Mm-hmm.
If there are some statuses we want to roll against, we can also provide those here. But for that, we won't do that. Also, we have pre-trigger. It's confirmation, but for events. So just like that.
Okay.
So we can either disable that event or do only skip this event behavior. So save request would be skipped, but event would still work. So for example, those bonus to damage would still work. Yeah.
Okay.
If we select that option.
I see.
Post
Okay.
post trigger. So what will happen if event is triggered for the first time and probably last if you select delete.
Mm-hmm.
But if you select disable, then you can also select when you want to re-enable that event.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So for those of you who are looking at this going, oh my gosh, this seems complicated. It is, but it's built so that automation can be built easier. A lot of
Yeah.
you are just going to be using what Patrick and other like third party developers just build out of the box. But this helps, especially those people understand how they can interact with the system and create their own homebrew stuff. We're already seeing, you know, third-party content creators creating new monsters and new monster abilities, and there will be new weapons and things like that, and those will be kind of complementary to the DC20 system, and those individuals are going to want to know how this stuff works. So this is great.
And as I said, everything should be described here in the advanced system guide. So
Love it.
if someone wants to play with that, so you can check that here. And now let's save that, and it should our save request just popped out at the end of our turn.
Yep.
And now I don't remember what I provided as on success delete. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's succeed.
There you go.
Yeah, and we did. It was removed already.
Fantastic.
Okay, so for a quick note for item formula injection, maybe I will just show that here. There are two types of injection. On prepare is calculated when the character stats, for example, are calculated, and
Okay.
it does not have access to everything because it is injected before the calculation is done. So it is less useful only in some specific conditions, but it does not have access to everything. But our more interesting version is on chat message. So here, this formula is calculated when we apply effect from chat to that to selected token. So if we have, for example, let's say repeated save, yeah, it's against this caster save DC.
Okay.
So we can create that formula. For example, let's do it with that battle ballad again. Why not? And maybe we will even edit that event. So we have save request, agility on turn end against here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before I provided just a simple number, but I can also provide a formula that should be calculated. So to do that, I need to use those injection markers.
Okay.
That's how it looks like. And in the inside of that, I can just, I hope I remember that path correctly. I can just, I could either call, I could use caster roll data to access few fields. For example, let's say we want our save DC, so it will be save DC spell value, I think. I hope.
Okay.
And now we can save it, and it will be saved here, yeah, against.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if I provided that value correctly, when we roll that bardic performance, and we, let's say, apply that battle ballad to that skeleton,
Mm-hmm.
it should be calculated. Yeah, I did it wrong. It is calculated to 0, so I
Yeah.
selected the wrong path. But yeah, it checked that value, but it
Yeah.
couldn't find it. But
Yeah.
let's say I provided correct path, so it is 12, for example. And now, when that skeleton end its turn, I also got selected confirmation, so it asks if it should use that event, and it should, and we can just roll that save. And it failed.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's for the formula injection. I think that is it from the more
Yeah, the advanced configuration system.
yeah, advanced configuration system, less player facing, more DM or some third party facing stuff.
Great. Okay. Well, now the next up, you actually are supporting help dice now, right? And held actions.
Yeah, exactly. So let's, for example, roll that attack again. Here we have it. It is a heavy hit, but let's say that our friend Sergius wanted to help us. So let's go to the help action, and as you can see into configuration, it has action type selected as help. So that's how you can create help items, let's say.
Oh, okay.
And now when he rolls that help action, it will add it to his tracker right here.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And he can just drag and drop it to the chat message, and he will roll that and add it.
Interesting.
And also, if that's not his turn, but if it would, I think I don't remember correctly, but yeah, it resets after his turn ends. So with multiple help penalties, a little bit different than multiple check penalties. So
Okay.
or is it? Maybe not. That's how it works in the rules. Yeah. So let's say he made 2 more help actions.
Okay.
So the next die is D6, and the next is D4, and let's say he channels everything into that help, into that attack. Yeah. So he made it huge. And yeah, that's when it comes to help, because also you could just during making a roll, you could use those help dice here, and it would also work.
Okay.
But now the player that is making that help has to roll that dice, so it's on him if it is
Yes, and it'll take his
shitty.
action points away. Okay,
Yeah,
and just so I'm clear, those help actions added to the attack check of that rapier attack? Is that what?
exactly. Yeah, you can see
Oh,
those here.
okay. All right, great. All right. All right, so as soon as you drag those over, it'll add to the previous card.
Exactly.
I see. Okay,
The
great.
card you dropped it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you drop it onto the card, that's what adds it to the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah. So now let's go to uh, spelled action. So let's say our Karius wants to make one more attack, but only if his target comes to him.
Okay.
Let's make him hindered. Or not. Okay, yeah, so let's say he spent his action point to gain 1 point of advantage if
Okay.
it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And let's make it here. You can make it held action.
Oh, okay.
And now when you select Karius, you can see that he has that action here.
Interesting. Okay.
And he spent his action point, and it's a new turn, so he regained those, but let's say this creature came to him, and he can trigger that action.
Okay.
So you can just click on that, and now you see that
Yeah.
it
Everything that
has
you
one
set
advantage
before.
from
Yeah.
you don't spend any action points
Yeah.
because you spent those before. You would
Yep.
spend some stamina or mana because you with how the rules work, you spend it during that attack, not when you held that attack. So
Okay.
mana would be spent when you cast that spell here. You couldn't do any enchantments now because you selected those before. Let's,
Mm-hmm.
for example, say you now you want to smite. Now it's too late. Sorry, but let's say that he got hindered condition, maybe not hinder, exposed condition before when he, for example, moved to you. So you can still check that.
I can still benefit from those. But
Yeah,
so what you're saying is when you're going to do a held action, you have to commit everything for that held action. And then once it's committed, that action is, and any
you
modifiers to it are
you
committed to it.
you have to commit action points and
Mm-hmm.
save all enchantments and,
Mm-hmm.
for example, yeah. So other modifiers you had during that moment.
Yeah.
And if you want to trigger that action, you still need to have, for example, mana at that moment to use it. Because mana, stamina, you spend those when you trigger that action. But when you start holding that action, you spend your action points. And
Yeah.
you save your state of enchantments and
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Cool. That'll be fun to play with.
yeah, and now it's spent and it's gone from here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And
Okay.
also it remembers your multiple check penalty when you held that action. So let's say, for example, our Karias attacked twice. So now his third attack would be with the disadvantage 2
Okay.
here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let's save that attack. And now we can skip our turn. And if you want to attack, for example, as a reaction, you can see that we don't have that disadvantage.
Hmm.
But if you trigger that held action,
Ah,
it
because
will be here.
yeah,
It will be remembered that you
interesting.
had that penalty during that attack, yeah?
Great. Okay. Super cool.
Uh, yeah, so help action and health is done, I think.
Yeah. Now I think we've got one more. It's the player can now create
Yeah,
spell scrolls from
it's
a
a
spell.
small request I got, and it's nothing fancy. Right now, when you open spell,
Mm-hmm.
any spell, you can see that button here, create spell scroll,
Mm,
and it will just create it and add it to your
fantastic.
yeah. And when you roll that spell, let's say it was firebolt, and yeah, it, it destroyed that scroll and it rolled that spell.
Wow. Awesome. That's
Just
great.
like that.
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. Well, this was a lot. This is a lot more than I was expecting. What a bunch of great improvements to the system. So for everyone else, we've got probably maybe another release just of system updates before like the .9 hits. But
Yeah,
let us
this
know.
one and probably
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys have any questions. Come to the Discord. As you can see, Patrick's monitoring the Discord channels. There's one on the official Foundry Discord. There's also one on the DC20 Discord, just for I think general VTT. But yeah, let us know if you guys have any thoughts or if you just like really like anything particular about this release. But this is great, Patrick. Thanks for walking me through it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. Okay, great. Well, for everyone else, I hope your holidays are shaping up well. We'll be back soon with the next episode of DC20 to Foundry. And in the meantime, everybody have fun making your maps and getting ready for the big release. Thanks again, Patrick.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great holidays.
All right. Bye, guys.